On the eastern border of Texas, where it shares lush forests and rivers with Louisiana, there's a special place I'd like to tell you about. It reminds me a lot of a part of Florida where I spent much of my time with my dad growing up. Not the beaches or the theme parks people usually think of, but the forests, the wetlands. Rivers, lakes, swamps, and bayous. We have them here in Texas too, and they are pretty spectacular. Da 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 da. The two things you notice first on your visit to Caddo Lake State Park are the trees and the water. What makes this place so unique is how they coexist, along with the abundant wildlife hidden all around. Keep your eyes and ears open, and things won't be hidden for long. Within minutes, you will understand just how alive and busy this ecosystem really is. The best views are from the water, so I get to use my stand-up paddleboard. You get a great view and you can stand, kneel, sit, or even lay down if you feel like it. It's also super quiet, which helps for trying to photograph animals. The Caddo were Native Americans who settled in this part of the world over 12,000 years ago. They had a village where they hunted, fished, grew corn, beans, and squash. This was their home for as long as history and the trees remember. The trees tower 100 feet in the air: bald cypress, water tupelo, and oak. The presence of Spanish moss gives the trees a serene type of movement in the breeze. The lake is about 25,400 acres, or 40 square miles, just a little smaller than San Francisco. On the west side of the lake is the state park, and what you see here is Sawmill Pond. After exploring here, you can float right through a wooded corridor into Big Cypress Bayou, where the river inches along towards Caddo Lake. There's plenty to do in Caddo Lake State Park: camping, which is my favorite, hiking, canoeing, fishing, birdwatching. There's even a choir of thousands of frogs, toads, and other beasts echoing through the shores every evening at dusk. The park and the lake were very clean and well taken care of. The staff and rangers were friendly, and Miss Lulu in the park office was as sweet and helpful as she could be, so bring her some flowers next time you visit. Since this was my first time there, I didn't know what to expect or where to start, but I had a pretty good idea and trusted my instinct. This is some of what I saw and heard. It feels like a land that time has forgotten, unchanged for millions of years. If you want to forget about the city for a while, this is a great place for it. This is a land of dragons. Colorful dragons with huge wings and nasty claws. But life is not quite as easy for the dragon as it seems. The bayou can be a dangerous place for any animal, big and small. But this is nature, so it's natural. The bird needs to keep his family of 5 well fed, so as soon as he's done doing whatever he's doing... Oh. It only takes one time of being grabbed by a tree to learn to be more careful.
No more sticks. No more sticks. Spiders. No more sticks.
Other than that, the trees were very helpful all day in giving plenty of shade from the bright hot sun. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I remember my dad was outside working. It was an unusually sunny day, so he walked over into the shade. I've always admired him for his resourcefulness. This vast highway of water lilies and dragons is an entire living ecosystem of both large and small scale. The diversity of life is the... Oh, look, a turtle! Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can get really close to Yertle the turtle without scaring him off. So, as I was saying, it's not easy for Mr. Bird either when he has to catch his dinner in midair. There he goes. Oh, fish just ate him. It's not exactly safe under the water for bugs either. As larvae, the dragons are snacks for turtles. Speaking of turtles, so far he isn't suspecting me. But if I want to get any closer, I'll have to go around a few trees and the floating island of Dragonopolis. I remember my dad used to love to climb trees as a kid. As luck would have it, our friend Yertle the turtle is too preoccupied doing yoga leg stretches to notice me. Very attractive. The grand bald cypress. The leaves of the bald cypress are deciduous. This means it loses its leaves in the winter, so it goes bald. That's why it's called the bald cypress. Oh, what's this? A beautiful yellow water lily bud with someone on top. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. The jumping spider can use her silk as a kite to help her steer in the wind, or as a safety rope if the jump is unsuccessful. With perseverance, she will make it over a vast labyrinth of aquatic dangers, to the relative safety of one of the colossal skyscrapers that tower 100 feet up, and at 100 years old, the tree is still very young. By the time they turn 200, they will almost stop growing and be over 130 feet tall. Some live to be over 1,000 years old. In Three Sisters Swamp, North Carolina, lives the oldest known tree in the eastern United States, named Methuselah. It is over 1,624 years old. It was just a little sprout during the fall of the Roman Empire. Now let's take a look at some of the larger animals roaming the bayou. While there are dangerous animals around that you must respect and be aware of, most animals here are harmless, like this yellow-paddled red hull. And you will often find the playful double-banded bluejackets cruising the tree line, searching for marshmallows. I had a particular interest in this regal great white egret after I spotted it from far away as it was fishing. They are much more challenging to approach than a jumping spider or a yoga turtle. I also didn't want to intrude into the special moment nearby, so I decided to take a detour around a few trees and maybe get a closer look. The great egret was on high alert, so I was unable to get any closer. Hopefully later, I'll get a chance to film this magnificent large bird. My great-grandfather once wrote about woods noise in his book Little Possum. He said it's hard to believe the woods can be so noisy at night, but it's not a nerve-wracking noise, like screeching tires or trains clattering, horns tooting, doors banging, or rumbling trucks. No, woods noise is not hard on the nerves. When I was little, my dad and I would fall asleep with the windows open at night to the sounds of the living forest. All these years later, it still brings me back to those nights laying in bed, watching lightning bugs out the window, and how he made fun of my motorcycle underoos. He said I was tootin' and scootin'. Further along, I came to an interesting arch of branches that I could paddle under if I sat low enough. On the other side, I came to a dense patch of old trees, all huddled close together, like they had secrets. It was darker and more foreboding, but at the same time, full of life and inviting me to come relax in the peace and the cool shade. So I did, ready for an alligator to pop up at any second and eat me. But the lake wasn't ready to take me that day. I felt safe, like I was in a church, and I realized it's because I was. In his story Little Possum, my great-grandfather also writes, "A slight breeze was causing the Spanish moss to wave, which gave Possum and I the feeling that the whole hammock was alive and continually on the move. Continually on the move, yes, but traveling nowhere, as our tunnel had been here for hundreds of years, and I hoped would always be here for future generations to enjoy. Some folks would call this scene romantic, but as Possum was too young, and I was too old for such thoughts, we just called it heavenly, as only God could create a place like Big Oak Tunnel." As the day lazily rolls along, places and things look different and even put on fantastic light shows if you come by at the right time. Now it was lunchtime for me, so I float back to camp with my new dragon companion. The only snake I saw on this trip was on this shore, but I wasn't able to film it before it disappeared back into the water. back out after a good lunch, looking for new signs of life, and again, I'm not sure which way I should go. Listen to it breathe. It sounds to me like a mighty horse pulling a heavy load. The Graceful Ghost is the last known wood-burning, steam-powered, stern-paddle-wheeled touring vessel in the world. At the helm is captain and owner of the Graceful Ghost, Ron Gibbs, who has been a sailor for over 45 years and has worked aboard vessels in Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Mexico, and the Caribbean. Today, the bayou is also stalked by purring mountain lions. On my return to Sawmill Pond, I wanted to explore the flooded forest that in many ways resembles a cave. This was still unexplored territory for me, and I was definitely apprehensive about what I might find inside, but I felt the rewards could greatly outweigh the risk. Very little light penetrates all the way down to the surface of the water, but what does creates glowing rays of deep, rich colors under the surface. With its Spanish moss stalactites and cypress knee stalagmites, navigating into the forest can be like a puzzle, trying to find the correct route through the cypress knees and trunks. There would be no quick retreat if things got hairy. It takes you back in time. This is where the dinosaurs lived. Alligators still do, and they are basically dinosaurs with iPhones. This is Earth, 86 million years ago, and any second a pteranodon is going to pop in and eat me. I was in awe, breathless. I had been given the experience to feel what it's like to go back millions of years and bring back video. The close encounter with the egrets left me feeling fulfilled, satisfied that there was no need to do any more filming that day. Now it was time for me to put away the camera and live.
answers. Look for God and life on distant planets. Have your faith in the ever after, while each of us holds inside the map to the labyrinth. And heaven's here on earth. Conscience, we create the pain and the suffering and the beauty in this world. Heaven's here on earth. In our faith in humankind, in our respect for what is earthly, in our unfaltering belief in peace and love, understanding. I've seen and met angels wearing the disguise, ordinary people leading ordinary lives, filled with love, compassion, forgiveness, and sacrifice. Heaven's in our hearts, in our faith in humankind, in our respect for what is earthly, in our unfaltering belief in peace and love and understanding. You see, kingdom is at hand, promised land is at your feet. Canon will become when we aspire to be. If heaven's here on earth, if we have faith in humankind and respect for what is earthly, and an unfaltering belief, the truth is divinity. And heaven's here on earth. Temple, the world is our church. Heaven's here on earth. If we have faith in humankind and respect for what is earthly, and an unfaltering belief in peace and love and understanding, this could be heaven here on earth.